We're back.
Yes, we're back. We are back.
We're back. Welcome to day one.
I think season 6 is asking more of me than any of the seasons have so far.
You can just feel the subject matter daily. And it's rough because
there's going to be so many more videos coming your way because season 6 is a heavy season, and we want to show you what we can of some of the incredible things that are happening this season on The Chosen.
Jonathan Roumie is preparing for the most intense moment of his entire journey as Jesus in The Chosen, and what he just revealed about season 6 will shake you to your core. The crucifixion is coming, and he's not just memorizing lines or learning camera cues. No. Jonathan is training his soul. He's physically transforming, mentally preparing, and spiritually surrendering.
I don't have expectations. I try to just live in the moment and come here and say thank you.
It's getting rave reviews.
One of the top-rated and most talked about shows on television.
Because season 6 isn't just a new chapter. It's the chapter that will leave us shattered. He says he's been training his body and spirit just to survive what's coming. And if that doesn't terrify and inspire you at the same time, just wait until you hear what Jenkins had to say. Because what's coming in The Chosen season 6, it's not family-friendly. It's not clean, it's not safe, it's real. And it might be the most emotionally devastating thing we've ever seen. When Jonathan Roumie says he's training for the crucifixion, he's not exaggerating. He isn't just studying scripture or practicing emotional expressions in front of a mirror. He's pushing himself to his absolute limits, body and soul. In a recent interview, Jonathan opened up like never before, revealing that he's been undergoing intense preparation just to be able to portray the final days of Jesus. He said, "I've been training specifically for this season. That's not just about acting. It's about surrendering." He went on to explain that it's not only the emotional burden that's heavy, it's the physical toll of what he's about to carry. The crucifixion isn't a scene you can fake. You can't just act like you're being tortured. You have to walk into that pain and live inside it. And Jonathan knows it. He said he's been embracing self-sacrifice in order to fully become Jesus during these final moments. That alone tells us how serious this is going to be. What makes it even more powerful and more haunting is the way Jonathan speaks about needing God to guide him through this darkness. He said, "Pray that I get out of my own way and allow God to just continue to lead me forward." That's not just a humble actor asking for support. That's a man staring down one of the most emotionally devastating portrayals ever filmed and knowing he can't survive it alone. This isn't just another season. This is the climax of the entire journey. The betrayal, the suffering, the cross. And Jonathan is carrying that weight for all of us. He admitted that he constantly wonders, how am I going to get through it all? And honestly, I think we're all wondering the same thing. How are we going to get through it as an audience, knowing what's coming? What struck me the most is that Jonathan isn't afraid to let us in on how broken he feels. He's not pretending to be brave. He's just being honest. He said he keeps asking God how to stay close during this process. And how to stay close, even after it's over. That's a confession that hits hard, because we've all asked those same questions in our own lives. And now, he's carrying those questions into the role of a lifetime. This isn't about performance. It's about purpose. It's about stepping into the pain, not to glorify it, but to honor it. And that's exactly what Jonathan is trying to do. Honor Jesus in every breath, every step, and every heartbreaking moment of season 6. But here's where things get even more intense. Jenkins, the creator of The Chosen, has made it absolutely clear. They're not holding anything back this season. In fact, he warned us. He said, "It's not family-friendly. Let that sink in." This is a show that has always tried to be accessible to younger audiences, to families, to people of all ages. But when it comes to the crucifixion, Dallas isn't sugarcoating it. He said if they try to clean it up, they'd be doing a disservice to the story. And honestly, he's right. The crucifixion was brutal. It was messy. It was horrifying. And if they're going to tell the truth, they have to show us the cost of that sacrifice. So if the creator of the show is saying this won't be suitable for younger viewers, that should tell you everything you need to know. This isn't going to be an easy season to watch. It's going to be painful. It's going to be raw. It's going to break us. But it's also going to mean something because we've walked with these characters. We've cried with them. We've hoped with them. And now we're about to suffer with them. But maybe that's exactly what The Chosen wants to show us, that through suffering, something beautiful is born. But first, we have to face the darkness. What's so terrifying and yet so deeply powerful about The Chosen Season 6 is that we already know where it's going. We know how the story ends, or at least we think we do. But Jonathan Roumie and Dallas Jenkins are warning us. We have no idea how hard this is going to hit, because this time, it's not just about the event of the crucifixion, it's about the emotional weight that's been building for 6 seasons. Dallas recently said something that completely changed how I'm thinking about this. He said, "We don't need to show what Mel Gibson showed. We've built emotional connection." That's our tool. And that right there, that's what's going to destroy us. Because we've lived with these characters. We've watched them grow. We've seen their faith rise and fall, and now we're about to watch their world collapse. And not just any world, his world. Jesus' world, their Messiah, their teacher, their friend, is about to be taken from them in the most violent, humiliating way possible. And we'll feel every second of it. And it's not just emotional preparation they're doing. The logistics of Season 6 are absolutely insane. Dallas confirmed the shoot will take 86 days. 20 days longer than previous seasons. And a huge part of that is because the crucifixion scenes are being filmed entirely at night. He said flat out, "We'll be filming all night through." Can you imagine the emotional exhaustion on top of the physical toll that's going to take on? The cast and crew? Jonathan Roumie isn't just acting through this, he's enduring it. Night after night, surrounded by darkness, suffering through the physical pain of the role, while carrying the spiritual weight of portraying the Son of God in his final hours. This isn't something you walk away from unchanged. And Jonathan knows it. He's already said that his greatest challenge isn't the performance, it's getting out of his own way and letting God take over. That is such a raw, vulnerable truth. It's not about pretending to be Jesus. It's about becoming empty enough for Jesus to shine through. The truth is, The Chosen is going somewhere no other Jesus show has dared to go. Not just in its storytelling, but in its honesty. It's not skipping over the pain. It's not brushing past the betrayal. It's taking us into the garden, into the courtroom, into the horror of Golgotha. And it's doing it through the eyes of people we love. Think about it. We're going to see Matthew, Mary, Simon, and John as their world crumbles. We'll watch them fall to their knees, question their faith, run in fear, and break under the weight of loss. And through all of that, Jesus will be there, choosing love while they abandon him, choosing forgiveness while he's torn apart. That contrast, it's what makes Season 6 feel so real and so utterly heartbreaking. And yet, this isn't a season of despair. It's a season of truth. It's about showing the cost of our salvation, not through blood alone, but through relationship, through love, through sorrow. That's what Dallas means when he says this season doesn't need to rely on physical violence. We're going to feel the nails, not just because they pierce Jesus, but because they pierce everyone around him, including us. Because let's be honest, this isn't just his story, it's ours. We've all failed him. We've all walked away. And yet, he still chose the cross. That's the story they're telling. And that's the story that's going to leave us breathless. And now, with 2 episodes being released as feature-length films in theaters, it's clear. The Chosen isn't holding anything back. This isn't just a series finale. It's a cinematic event. They're preparing to break our hearts on the big screen, in surround sound, in the dark with strangers who will be crying beside us. And honestly, that feels exactly right. Because this isn't entertainment anymore. It's an encounter. And Jonathan Roumie, through his training, his sacrifice, and his surrender, is becoming the vessel for that encounter. The question is, are we ready? Because once Season 6 begins, there's no turning back. And when the cross appears, it won't just be Jesus we see hanging there, it'll be every broken piece of ourselves, finally laid bare. What makes this season even more intense is the emotional cost behind the scenes. Jonathan Roumie isn't just preparing his body, he's preparing his soul. He's been open about how spiritually draining this journey is. And it's not just because of the crucifixion scene itself. It's because he knows the pressure of what this moment means. He said something that shook me. How am I going to get through it all? How can I pray more? How can I get closer to God in the meantime while I'm on this journey? He even admitted that the fear of not trusting God is what scares him most. He said, "If I'm not trusting him, I'm not doing it right." That line alone says everything, because what's happening here isn't just about cameras and scripts. It's about faith, about obedience, about letting go of everything: fame, comfort, ego, and becoming the vessel for something so much bigger. Jonathan's been training his body, yes, but even more than that, he's been training his heart. Surrendering, asking God to help him disappear so that what people see on screen isn't Jonathan, it's Jesus. That takes courage. That takes faith. And that's what makes this season feel sacred in a way no other show ever has. And now we know that Dallas Jenkins is planning to film the crucifixion scene with full intensity. We can't ignore how brutal it's going to be. He said, bluntly, "It's not family friendly." That's coming from someone who's spent 5 seasons making this show accessible to all ages. So, if he's saying this will go beyond that, it means we need to brace ourselves. But what's even more haunting is that Dallas doesn't plan to rely on gore to make us feel the pain. He said, "We've built emotional connection. That's what we're going to use." And you know what? That's so much worse, in the best possible way, because pain without context is just noise. But pain built on love, that's unforgettable. And that's exactly what's coming. We're going to feel every betrayal, every tear, every scream, not because of what we see, but because of what we've come to love and believe in over 6 seasons. And for Jonathan, this isn't just acting, it's transformation. He's letting this process change him. He's asking for our prayers. He's asking for strength. He's been honest about the sacrifice, even saying he's had to give up personal comforts and undergo physical training just to be ready. He said, "There's been a lot of self-sacrifice in order to bring my idea of how I want Jesus to feel and look for season 6. That word, feel, is everything. Because it's not just about portraying the suffering physically, it's about feeling it emotionally, spiritually. And that's what he's trying to embody. Not just the look of Jesus, but the heart, the heartbreak, the quiet power of a man walking toward death, not because he has to, but because he chooses to. And that's where the real weight of season 6 hits, because we're going to see Jesus choosing this path, knowing full well what's coming. And not once does he run. Not once does he resist. He walks straight into it. For them, for us, for the world. And Jonathan Roumie knows that if he's going to do justice to that moment, he has to go all in. He has to lay down his own fear, his own ego, his own control. And in doing that, he's modeling the very thing Jesus did. That's what's so haunting about this season. The deeper you look, the more you realize this show isn't just about watching Jesus. It's about becoming like him. And the cost of that? It's everything. And while Jonathan Roumie is carrying the emotional and spiritual weight of portraying Jesus during his darkest hour, the rest of the Chosen team is also feeling the pressure mount like never before. Dallas Jenkins has spoken about how this season is the most demanding of the entire series, not just creatively, but physically and mentally. Season 6 is scheduled to take 86 days to film, which is nearly 3 full weeks longer than any season before it. That tells us everything. It's not just another season. This is the season, the one that everything has been building toward. The moment the disciples fall apart, the world turns its back on Jesus, and heaven itself goes quiet. And behind the camera, this cast and crew are pouring everything they have into capturing that pain. Dallas revealed that the crucifixion scenes will be filmed overnight, in the dead of night, for multiple nights in a row. That kind of grueling schedule breaks people, but it's the only way to capture the raw exhaustion, the brutal stillness of what that moment must have felt like. They aren't just creating a scene, they're living it. And while many shows might be tempted to rush through the final moments of a character's life, Dallas and Jonathan are doing the exact opposite. They're slowing it down, drawing it out, letting the sorrow breathe. Because this isn't just a dramatic ending, it's the climax of something sacred. Jonathan has described how he's trying to empty himself before filming, to get out of his own way, and to allow God to move through him. That kind of surrender is rare. That kind of vulnerability is terrifying, but it's also what makes his portrayal feel alive. He's not hiding behind technique or method acting. He's laying it all bare, trusting that God will show up in the silence, in the pain, in the cracks between each word and gesture. And that's what's going to break us. Not just the nails, not just the crown of thorns, but the quiet way Jonathan lets Jesus' suffering creep into every expression, every breath. And let's be honest, this will not be easy to watch. The cast knows it. The crew knows it. We know it. This isn't just going to hurt, it's going to wreck us. Because this time it's personal. We've walked beside these characters for years. We've cried with Mary Magdalene. We've rooted for Matthew. We've followed Peter through his anger and pride and loyalty and failure. And now we're going to see them lose Jesus. Not because he failed, but because they did. And the guilt that's going to wash over them is something we'll feel too, because even now we carry that same guilt, the times we've doubted, walked away, stayed silent. And seeing that pain through the eyes of these beloved characters is going to feel like a mirror, a painful one. But that's the power of what Dallas is building. He knows the audience isn't just watching this story unfold, we're emotionally inside it. And that's why he's taking every detail so seriously. From the lighting, to the pacing, to the rawness of every scream. Because he's not just telling a story, he's leading us to the foot of the cross. And he's not sparing us from the horror of it. He's letting us feel every betrayal, every injustice, every drop of blood, not to shock us, but to move us, to remind us of the cost, and to prepare us for what comes next. Because yes, the crucifixion will break us, but it's not the end. There's a reason Dallas is willing to push the cast and crew to their limits. There's a reason Jonathan is training harder than ever and surrendering everything he has. It's because they know what's coming after the suffering. But first, we have to face the darkness. Together. And now, as we prepare ourselves for what Season 6 of The Chosen is about to deliver, there's a strange kind of silence hanging in the air, a sacred pause before everything changes. We know it's coming. The betrayal, the agony in the garden, the trial, the cross. And even though we've read the story, even though we know how it ends, something about this retelling feels different, heavier, more personal. Because this time we're not just watching from a distance, we're walking through it with them. We've watched Jesus call each disciple by name. We've watched him change their lives. And now we're going to watch them break as he's taken from them. Dallas Jenkins and Jonathan Roumie aren't pulling any punches this time. They've made it clear. The crucifixion won't be softened. It won't be watered down. It won't be edited to fit into a family-friendly mold. This is going to be real and raw and holy. Because the point isn't to protect us from the pain. It's to help us understand it, to feel it, to sit in it, even if it crushes us. Because only then can we truly grasp the depth of the love that was poured out. Jonathan's journey through this season isn't just about acting anymore. It's become a spiritual trial of its own. He said that he's preparing not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually too. He's not just memorizing lines. He's trying to let go of everything that could get in the way of what God wants to do through him. That kind of surrender changes a person. And we're going to see the fruit of that when Season 6 arrives. We're going to feel every ounce of weight that's on his shoulders. And maybe it's going to open something inside of us too. Because as much as Season 6 will devastate us, it might also awaken something deeper than just sadness or awe. Maybe it'll help us reconnect with the gravity of what Jesus endured. Maybe it'll shake loose the numbness we carry. Maybe it'll remind us why this story still matters. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see ourselves in the disciples' fear, in their failure, and still find hope on the other side. That's what The Chosen has always done best. It takes these ancient, sacred stories and makes them feel urgent again, alive again. And if Season 6 is going to do what it's setting out to do, then we're about to experience a version of the Crucifixion that might stay with us for the rest of our lives. The cast and crew are not treating this like just another episode. They know this is sacred ground. They know they're about to tell the most important part of the story. And the fact that they're taking such care, showing such reverence, speaks volumes. It means they're not just trying to get through it. They're trying to honor it. So, when Jonathan begs us for our prayers, when Dallas warns us that this will not be family-friendly, when the crew works day and night to get it right, it's because they understand the responsibility they've been given. And now, that responsibility is slowly being handed to us too.